Having a narcissistic father, I witnessed a variety of unhealthy behavior in my youth. This could be frightening and confusing, and I wish I learned about narcissism earlier on. My experience motivates me to now try to help others in similar circumstances. For this video, I researched what could signal a parent is narcissistic and what is typical narcissistic behavior for parents. I combined this with my own experience, and it resulted in a list of 12 possible signs of narcissistic behavior by parents. I sincerely hope you don't have a narcissistic parent, or possibly even both. If you do, however, it's good to be informed to be able to deal with it in a better way. I hope this video can be helpful to you. Narcissism is characterized by a lack of empathy, a hunger for admiration and validation, increased ego and grandiosity. Important to mention is that when someone shows narcissistic behavior, it doesn't mean that someone is a narcissist. Anyone can show narcissistic behavior. It depends on the frequency and intensity of shown narcissistic behavior. A narcissist will show this behavior regularly and has a very unhealthy influence on their environment, as they don't mind using people for their benefit. My focus is on the behavior shown, as in the end you have to deal with the behavior and not with a label. Now, a narcissistic parent can on the one side see his or her children as a reflection of themselves, which results in pushing a child to excel at something and needing them to be a success story. There will be a need to control and a lot of involvement to get this done. On the other side, a narcissist could not get the admiration that they think they should get from a child, which can lead to entirely losing interest in the child and seeking other sources for admiration or attention. The similarity in both situations is that there is always a form of disconnection between narcissistic parents and their children. This is because there is no real empathy, warmth, and thus there can't be any real emotional connection. Having a narcissistic parent probably results in wearing a mask to protect yourself. You could be trained to think about the expectations of the narcissist and not being stimulated to develop as an individual with own thoughts, feelings and needs. Therefore, when having narcissistic parents, it's essential to start working on yourself and shift the attention from the narcissist to yourself. Now, let's go into the signs. It's important not to look isolated to the signs and draw conclusions based on that, but rather look at it as a whole and the frequency and intensity of shown behavior. The first sign is a parent trying to fulfill their own dreams through you. A narcissistic parent could push a child to excel at a certain sport, musical instrument or hobby. In this case, their child must be a success story. There will be a lot of expectations you need to live up to. It may feel like you are being pushed to do certain hobbies or a sport in an unhealthy way. You probably don't even remember consciously choosing to do it or wanting it. Not coincidentally, it's exactly what your parent loves, and they, for example, never got a chance to go for it despite of their talent. Of course, they would be successful, but they didn't have a fair chance due to all kinds of reasons. They might say they had to go to work or had an injury or something. But for you, there is an opportunity, so you better make it a success. You owe it to them, they think. There are two outcomes here when dealing with a narcissistic parent. If you succeed, it's because of the talent and guidance of your narcissistic parent. And if you fail, it would be because you are sadly less capable than your parent. So basically, they will take responsibility for your success, and you will be responsible for your failure. There's no balance in this dynamic. It might feel like you must like something because they like it so much, and they might be very happy about you doing it. If you feel like there's no space to stop doing it, this is a sign of pressure, and possibly you're dealing with a narcissistic parent. Of course, it's possible you like the same things as your parents, but there should be own thoughts, emotions, and choices about what you like or want. The second sign is showing you off for his or her confidence. A narcissistic parent might want to show you to the world in the very best way possible. Your success will be their success. Actually, it will only be their success. You are just lucky you are their child and got the opportunity from them. If you get compliments, it can boost their self-worth or ego, as they put it, towards them. Clearly, not all parents that want their children to succeed are narcissistic. A narcissistic parent differs in the active denial of their children having a sense of an independent self. Their children exist to serve them and their egos. The third sign is that the attention must be all about them. Narcissistic parents will find a way to get any conversation about them. Did you get a good grade? Say thanks to the intelligence of your narcissistic parent. Did you win a sports game? Thanks to the talent you got from your parent or their great support. A narcissistic parent can pull any positive attention to them because of their constant need for validation. The fourth sign is marginalization and putting you down. This is the other side of wanting a kid to succeed. Some narcissistic parents see their children as a threat because their success will challenge the greatness and self-esteem of the parent. In this case, such a narcissistic parent will try to put you down. This could be anything to make you feel bad, insecure, and less worthy. This is painful and will drain your energy. The fifth sign is smear campaigning or negative propaganda about others. They can be very positive about people that they control, but they can also just disrespect and talk badly about the people they don't control or like. They don't see individuals as human beings, and from their inflated self-image, they will think, I am better than this person. This would be a narcissist feeling superior and showing grandiosity. You will probably sense when a smear campaign is going on. Sometimes it can be used to lose contact with people that are a threat to the narcissist. This could be someone that sees what is going on and recognizes the manipulation by a narcissist. The sixth sign is showing off in public events. Maybe you had to go to parties or events and show your best behavior. I always had to show myself at parties to show that we were a happy family and that we were successful smart kids going to university. A narcissistic parent could enjoy publicly parading and showing accomplishments to the world. It's all about the attention and being so very special. Now, the seventh sign is basically a display of all kinds of manipulative behavior. There will be quite a variety of manipulation going on when having one or two narcissistic parents. Narcissistic behavior doesn't necessarily mean someone is a narcissist, but the extent, intensity, and the quantity of this behavior do tell you a lot. The most common source of manipulation consists of the following: unreasonably blaming you of all sorts of things. Because of you I can't be happy, or you stole my life. The guilt game: you should be more thankful of all I have done for you. Shame: you are a disgrace, I am ashamed of you, or you are an embarrassment. Negative comparison: I wish you were as smart as your sister. And pressure about expectations: you must succeed at baseball or else no more financial support for you, or why can't you just do as I say? This can be all very painful and manipulative behavior. Love seems to be conditional when dealing with narcissistic parents. You will get love when you succeed or play the game right. This is not what real unconditional love is, sadly. The eighth sign is that a narcissistic parent can show very childish behavior. They could be competitive with you and act jealous. My mother told me it felt like she had 4 children instead of us 3 children, because of how my father behaved. He acted as the most childish person in the household. He had no control over his emotions, needed all attention, telling jokes or stories, and when things didn't go his way, he would make sure to create a bad atmosphere for everyone. My mother told me about a time a narcissistic father was building a brick wall in the garden. He literally needed compliments and appreciation with every brick he put in the wall. He was like a child showing it can ride a bike without his or her hands. My mother had to watch him and keep her attention to him every second in an indirectly forced way. For a child, this is all part of normal behavior, but for an adult, it's a red flag. The ninth sign is that there can be some specific triggers causing unpredictable reactions when interacting with a narcissistic parent. When I was around the age of 10, my father was always busy in his home office and he did not like to be disturbed. When dinner was ready, we were scared to tell him as kids. He mostly would respond very disturbed and angry. He would sigh a lot afterward and kept showing his frustrations for a long time. I still remember the feeling of having to tell dinner was ready very specifically, which means it made quite an impact on me. I did not understand his aggressiveness. Wasn't it a good thing when someone made dinner for you? As a child, it's hard not to blame yourself and to protect yourself from excessive kinds of behavior. A narcissistic parent can thus be easily triggered and be very touchy. They can respond abnormally to normal behavior from others. This mainly seems to occur when something unexpected happens or is out of their control or expectations. The 10th sign is a lack of empathy. A common sign of having a narcissistic parent is that there is no acknowledgement of the child's thoughts and feelings. It's all about what the parent thinks, feels, and does. Your feelings or thoughts as a kid are irrelevant and unimportant. Possible responses can be to fight and stand up for yourself, flight, thus create distance, or freeze and play a role to survive. My response mostly was freezing when around my father, where I learned to play a role to survive the situation. A lack of empathy can also be seen in how the one narcissistic parent may treat the other parent. They might put the other parent down or make negative jokes about them. My father would make a lot of negative comments about my mother, hidden inside jokes. No one thought it was funny, but it seemed he almost impulsively needed to put her down in that way. Another sign is that some narcissistic parents think their children should take care of them forever and/or want to create a dependency on them. There will be a lot of manipulation needed to create this codependency. This could be, for example, emotional or financial dependency. Dependency does not necessarily have to be a bad thing, but in this case the parent's expectations or demands are not reasonable. The needs of the child will be secondary and it will be all about the parent. It will be to the level of sacrificing your own life just to keep your narcissistic parent happy. This can happen if a child never breaks free from the influence of a narcissistic parent, and therefore not being able to develop into an independent human being. The last sign is neglect, which is very painful for the child. Sometimes a narcissistic parent is so self-absorbed that he or she will not care or find any use for the child. This is thus the opposite of creating dependency. They will focus only on themselves and leave the child be. The child doesn't provide any of the needed validation and the narcissist will seek it somewhere else, such as in career or social activities. Now, there will always be a moment where you would have to accept that your parent is a narcissist, or at least showing a lot of unhealthy narcissistic behavior. This means letting go of hope and accepting that they won't connect with you on a deeper level. Stop searching for love and/or approval. There seems to be quite a lot of narcissistic parents showing a different variety of narcissistic behavior. There can be physical or emotional abuse and it can be lonely. It's tough to grow up with a narcissistic parent. There needs to be balance for children, which requires empathy, love, and compassion. There's a lot of doubt and insecurity as a kid of narcissistic parents. As narcissists are dominant and pull all attentions towards them, it can be difficult to have your own thoughts and identity. Also, there could be a lot of internalized guilt or shame. It all means you have to find out on your own how to love and care for others and yourself. You deserve your own attention, kindness, and love. If you have a narcissistic parent, you need to work on your self-worth, confidence, setting boundaries, and developing as a person, which might not have been stimulated in a healthy way. Try to find positive examples and think about the people that sincerely appreciate you. It's important to see how things can be in a positive way. In my next video, I will go into what I have learned from having a narcissistic father. Subscribe if you want to stay updated. Thank you for listening, and I wish you kindness and strength.